Go.
Hello. This is Ignacy and Portal Games.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacor. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 209, and we're recording on September 11th, 2021. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. And you know, that guy, Tom Vassell, he's starting to grow on me. I'm here at the Dice Tower retreat, and Tom is sitting with all the gamers, playing games with everybody. He's organizing cakes and pies for the entire convention, just being nice and charming to everybody. Maybe he's not such a bad man after all, Ignacy.
I don't know, maybe they are playing some resistance game like these geese. Pretending to be the good guy.
He's a hidden traitor.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Maybe the case. It's like an epic version of resistance for all the attendees. Be careful.
Be careful. Epic resistance. That's great. Ignacy,
having blast there. I saw a lot of photos from.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't been tweeting much because I've been playing so many games, but
I saw Eric tweeting and a lot of people.
I got to put up a bunch of stuff today. I'm going to be playing something really cool. I played something great. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but for right now, tell us what's happening over at Portal Games, man.
Yeah, we are having fun running a crowdfunding campaign. Everybody who runs a crowdfunding campaign knows how fun it is.
Oh, it's so much fun.
11 began this Tuesday. We are very, very happy and proud to be founded in half an hour. So it was a very exciting beginning of the campaign. And now, a few days in, we have $200,000 gathered, almost 2,000 backers, and it's going very, very strong. So I'm very, very proud. And the whole team, of course, dedicated to the project is working from the beginning of the day, from the morning till very, very late, because we are living in Poland. So obviously our late is like a midday in different parts of the world. So we are doing like basically two shifts, morning shift and night shift, to answer all the questions, all the comments. A ton of work, but very positive feedback. So we are very, very proud. For all of you who are wondering, this campaign will have 21 unlocks. We mentioned this in the previous campaign, that I believe in this format, not connecting the quality of the final game with the success of the campaign, but just revealing every single day something interesting and some bonus for players. If I have a time for the small anecdote, I have one of the fans of 11, one of the backers, who made one of the most fun diss on the internet. Somebody was complaining that he's not into the football and he will not back the game because he's not interested in sports. And this fan asked him, "Are you into farming?" Because that means that if you're playing Agricola, that means that do you have the garden and you're planting, you know?
How many spaceships have you been in?
Yeah. And the other guy just shut up immediately. But this is a valid point, like, saying that I am not into the sports. Are you into farming? Are you into Mediterranean trading? Like, yeah, these are just the themes of the games, right?
Yep.
And 11 is a business simulation game. You're running the business club, you're managing resources, hiring staff, firing staff, building infrastructure. You don't need to be a sport person to love that.
Right.
And so thank you for my fans to making me happy and laughing and supporting the campaign. In the brag section of the week, last week I mentioned that I'm going to do 12 hours charity stream. It went so well. And we gathered 30,000 Polish zloty, which is quite a big number. And we managed to give you just a perception. We managed to gather enough money to send one little girl for the surgery. So we just seriously, we managed to get enough money to send her for the surgery. She had a problem with her legs and she couldn't walk. And now after the surgery, she will be healed from that. So I'm super proud of everyone who was with us. One day of a crazy streaming, and we saved the girl. So this is like super proud. A moment for me and the whole team. And thank you for all who were participating, of course, in Poland. However, we have a couple of hardcore Polish Portal fans from America who tuned into the stream and started bidding as well for some of the items that I was putting. So that was super sweet when I saw suddenly English in the chat and people also bidding to grab some items and help in the charity. So it was a very touching moment.
Nice.
In terms of the business, the pre-orders and street dates, obviously, as everyone who listens to this podcast for some time understands, it is a Q3 and upcoming Q4, things are happening. And Neuroshima Hex, the Year of the Moloch, already released and already sold out. So try to hunt it down in some stores. Neuroshima Hex Beasts, a new army released. We released a new version of the app, Neuroshima Hex app, so you can find it in the App Store or Google Play Store. If you already have this app, you can download it and update for free. So this is our gift for you. This is a brand new version, but we give it out for free for you. One information very important: if you update your old app, you will get this new app for free. But in this new app, there are not yet all the armies because we are still coding and adding. So please don't get frustrated that at some point these armies will disappear. They will appear later in a couple of months. So don't worry. And the most crucial thing, Operation Essen. That means the pre-orders for Essen, our Essen releases are open. So go to portalgamesus.com, and we have a pickup at Essen offer. So you can just secure your copy. So then you go to the show and you will not miss our games. And we have also the shipping option. So if you are not going to Essen because of many different reasons, we will just ship these games to you. And by these games, I mean, obviously, Dune House Secrets. I mean, Dreadful Circus from Unified Duty. And I mean, Petty Officers from Mike Selinker. So 3 amazing products. Visit portalgamesus.com to learn more. And what's happening at HQ? Things are happening. We have opened a late pledge for Robinson Crusoe. We have a Gen Con coming up next week.
Oh yeah,
and things are happening. So everyone is very busy with the Game Fund campaign for 11, with the preparation for Gen Con, with preparation for Essen, and on top of that, this upcoming week I'm going to Germany to meet with our partner Pegasus Spiele, to do some brainstorming and prepare for the next year. So even though the Essen is in next month, we want to just spend the whole day in their headquarters to play prototypes, to play the games we are preparing, and to strategize the future of our most important lines, that is Robinson Crusoe, Detective, and Imperial Settlers. All these 3 games are released in Germany by Pegasus Spiele, and they are super successful. So we want to be in touch very often. So this was happening. Ignacy is very busy, very happy. I love this time of the year, like all these things are happening and you were preparing for this part of the year for the whole year. So yes, I love Essen, I love Gen Con, I love Kickstarters, game funds, everything. In the meantime, my friend Steven is playing games.
That's right. That is absolutely right. Steven is playing games, loving life here. I just want to mention again, even though this is going to drop, some people might even be at Gen Con or they'll be driving there or something like that.
Yeah, I think David will be sold out, but just in case, if there's one ticket left, yes, maybe you have lucky. Maybe you will be lucky.
Come to at Gen Con if you're going to be there. Thursday night, 7 p.m., come to the $1 Million Script launch party hosted by Stephen Bonacore with Paula Deming and Z Garcia and Russ Wakeland and all these people that you know and hear on podcasts. It's going to be a great time. 7 p.m. Thursday. Get that last ticket and have a great time with all of us. In the meantime, what is happening at the Podfather of Gaming? Yes, remodeling is still going on and it's getting even crazier. First floor project is done and it is gorgeous. Tweak here, tweak there has got to be done. Just, a little punch list kind of items, but it's done. We're about to start, or we actually we're here at the convention and they've started demolitioning our bathrooms, 2 bathrooms upstairs. So we can't stop. It's going to be crazy.
We need photos for this destruction. Like we appreciate this destruction photos.
We're going to do both. We're going to do the final pictures of how the house ended up looking on the main floor, what's done, and we're going to do the destruction, the demolition photos of the first floor. Because when they do those things, it's wild. And one of the, this is like the definition of, first world problems, as we say. Everything we're looking for to put in is constantly out of stock. So like the same kind of problems that we have in the game industry just are all over the place, right? People can't get enough people to get things to you. The manufacturing has supply chain issues. So the tub that we want for our upstairs bathroom, this beautiful jetted tub, it's not in stock anymore. The day before I was going to order it, they were in stock and now they're out of stock. It just makes you mad when you're trying to get something done and nothing goes according to plan. But just like in the game industry, plans have to change. You got to be nimble. Yep. So we hope we found something else that hopefully is going to be even better. We'll see. But on cons and the trips that I'm taking right now, as I mentioned, I'm at the Dice Tower Retreat. there's 2 Dice Tower retreats this year, which is really kind of cool. So Tom and team have put this together. This is like kind of a gathering of friends like thing where it's basically they put a huge room together with their entire library, and the Dice Tower library is arguably the best game library in the world. And why do I say that? Is because it's huge, and Tom and team personally curate it. So like one game comes in, they take one out, so to speak. They're adding to it, but they always like pull things out that people aren't playing and adding new things and stuff like that. So phenomenal time. Tom is doing a great job, and the rest of the team. Big props to Sharon Madden, Kenny. They just do an incredible job of putting this together, and all the Dice Tower people. I don't want to keep anybody out. It's like all hands on deck, and they just kill it every time they throw one of these. It's going on now. I've been playing. I had a whole list of games here. Oh, here it is. Some of my highlights of gaming was Factory Funner. Have you played this, Ignacy? Factory Funner?
No.
Yeah, so this Factory Fun, which is only marginally fun, but this Factory Funner, which is the same designer, and he streamlined it and stuff, played a bunch of these. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle game. You've got to puzzle out how you can connect these tubes for these machines. So it's a physical game. Don't do it in real time. Very little tiny bit of real time, but it's not real time. And you got to connect with tubes, physical pieces on your board. So cool. The brand new, not released yet, Return to Dark Tower by Restoration Games. I saw the production prototype. So they've got a copy of it and it's working. They're still tweaking the app that goes along with it. Oh my God, it is so cool. So cool. So they've taken that Dark Tower, but they've now brought it up to, like modern computing, because the thing can do all kinds of like crazy things. And I don't want to tell you anything because it's a surprise. We played one scenario last night and had a great time. Kudos to Rob Davio, Justin Jacobson, and Restoration Games. You're going to love this game. And I was told, because this game is wildly expensive, not only to produce, but to buy. So the Kickstarter obviously is done. They can have very few copies left for distribution. So if anybody wants a copy, you got to act really fast. I believe it's a November release. I've already secured my copy with Justin. I said, dude, I'm buying a copy off you. So save one of these copies. He goes, no, I'll give it to you. I'm like, no, I'm buying a copy off you. Save one of these copies for me. So that was great. We did that last night. Played So Clover. Have you played that one?
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, it's one of the best produced games. It's almost like a party game, up to 6 players, and you've got this 3-leaf clover, a clover, and you put these little square cards like in like holes on them, and then
I saw photos of that. Photos of that.
So cool. And you've got to so 2 words. It's random the way the cards go in there, and 2 words will show up on the 4 sides of this clover thing. It's a 4-leaf clover, not 3-leaf clover. And you've got to write 1 word that hopefully describes enough what those 2 words are. Then you turn it over and you shuffle those 4 things up. On the advanced game, you throw another 1 in. So there's 5 of them now, and the people have to try to figure out, well, what words go with what words, and you turn them around. You like these little things can be turned in 4 different ways. So there's an infinite number of, not an infinite, but a lot of possibilities. So they're trying to say like, well, what did Bonacor mean by barn, for instance, was the word. And maybe could it be bird and frog? I don't know. That's a bad one, but whatever words they had there, what would you put to describe this thing? It's a connection game. It's fun. The scoring almost doesn't matter again with one of these games, but really, really, really good. What else? Oh, I finally got to try Ruins of Arnak. Really solid. Really, really solid game. I think it should have won. In fact, I know it should have won. But anyway, it didn't win Spiel des Jahres, but it's a really solid, call it midweight Euro, mid-lightweight Euro. Just nice worker placement, resource management to get more and more victory points as you go up the trails of finding all of the treasures of Arnak. Cool. A really interesting one was Awkward Guests. Have you seen this one?
Yes, I played it. I backed the Kickstarter. Yep. Deduction game,
Very,
right?
very cool idea. It's like, I'd say Clue on steroids, but it's several levels above Clue, of course. Mystery at the Abbey was sort of Clue on steroids. This is well above that one too. So, you're trying to figure out who did it, what weapon they had, and what their motive was to do it. And there's a map that you get card clues and you cross things off. Very interesting. We played it with like 7 players. Some people say you should play it with less. I enjoyed it with I like big player counts anyway, so I really enjoyed it like that. Very cool. The last game I'm going to mention, I haven't played yet, but that's Last Light, I think it's called, by Roy Canaday of the Dice Tower. It's coming out soon, and he's been giving demos of it once in a while. So I got in on one that I'm going to go to literally as soon as this podcast is over. I'm going down. Roy, Paula, Corey Thompson's here. We're all going to play this together and check out his new game. I hear it's a great Euro. No, it's not a Euro. It's a it's
4X.
It's a 4X game, but everyone teases him that he made a Euro. But he made a very streamlined 4X game that plays in like an hour. So I can't wait to see what he's come up with. Very happy for him and how that's going. After that, Gen Con is next week. So the next time we record this, we'll be there, and I will start giving reports of how things look and how things are going.
Very interesting. Yep.
I can't wait to see. I mean, this is going to be the first big one, right? I mean, all these other things we've gone to have been kind of small. This is the big one. This is the big North American one. They're keeping the attendance down to about half, 35,000, 30,000 of the normal 70,000. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So I can't wait to be there, seeing my old friends and checking out how it's all going to play out. I think I'll talk about other trips and things like that on the next episode. In the meantime, let's get to the event deck. So Ignacy, we have a lot of news here. So I'm thinking let's do mostly news and just a small number of questions, just so that we can really plow through some of this.
And today we are time limited, so we have to go.
Yeah, why are we time limited again?
Because I celebrate my Game Fund campaign for 11 with watching a match in 25 minutes.
You are a very bad man that you blow me off for football constantly. It's just very, very bad.
It's very important. We should even put it in the event deck. Today is the first match of Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the icons of the football. He was transferred to Manchester United. It was the biggest transfer of the transfer window. And today he's playing his first match. You are already sleeping or not yet?
I'm dying here. I'm just dying here. So the first news is going to make gamers' eyes roll, so to speak. Asmodee USA is increasing prices for the entire catalog as clogged West Coast ports set records. Asmodee USA and Luma Imports have announced price increases on catalog titles as clogged West Coast ports set records for the number of container ships in port and waiting to berth. Asmodee USA price increases affect Atomic Mass and Fantasy Flight Games titles and take effect October 1. The increase in price range from $2 an item to $10 an item, or 10 to 20%. The Luma increases, similar in size to Asmodee's, take effect immediately. Both companies included increased transportation costs among the reasons for their increases, which also included raw material prices rising and manufacturing costs. The effect of the pandemic-related shifts in demand on shipping volume has created unprecedented delays and price increases in both international and domestic shipping. So, Ignacy, we've talked about the problems in containers that are going on across the world, not just in our industry. It's very important people understand. So this is the first big notable price increase. I've had sources tell me that they have already increased prices. Smaller companies have already increased prices on select items. Like
Renegade Games did it also on the whole catalog like 2 months ago. So Renegade was the first one. They just said, okay, we have to do it. And they increased the whole prices.
I actually didn't know that, which is interesting to say they did it. Maybe they did it across the board just to be consistent and to somehow send the message that this is going to have to happen. Certainly, if it's in your warehouse, there's no need necessarily to increase the price, right? If it's something you just are printing.
I read their document. It was saying that they're increasing the prices starting from now, immediately. Like there was no that we are going to increase the prices in half a year. Now, suddenly, bam.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. But I've heard also certain companies have increased selected games. Like I guess maybe a game that they had a reprint.
For instance, for Portal games, we are now, because we want to be very careful, but we decided that we have to increase the cost of Robinson Crusoe because there's so many pieces in this game that when we have increase on the wooden pieces, on the plastic insert, on the cardboard pieces, like everything was increasing in production a bit. At some point we said, okay, we cannot handle anymore, and we had to increase Robinson Crusoe. But for Detective, we still try to keep the old price. We just get a little of the margin. So Portal games in this group, the companies who try to fight this problem, but it's very difficult.
You just can't fight it. Everyone is going to experience this, and board gaming is the least of your worries in experiencing this. It's going to be across the board, sadly. Anything that's imported, which is like everything in the United States, at least. Okay, so now we're going to get to some very interesting and sad news within the gaming industry, and that's that many companies have broken ties with Broken Token. As of the writing of this article on August 22nd, a half dozen companies had broken ties over sexual harassment allegations against the CEO, Greg Spence. A half dozen game publishers, including Arcane Wonders, Yellow USA, Floodgate Games, have broken ties with Broken Token after CEO Greg Spence was accused of sexual, mental, and emotional abuse by former employee. I'm going to leave out her name. It's not important, I think. The important part is what the story is about. Arcane Wonders said that they will, quote, will not support them in light of this news. Evil Hat Productions, Floodgate Games, Greater Than Games, Yellow USA, and Gray Fox Games also all tweeted that they have ended their licensing agreements with Broken Token. On the convention front, Gen Con stated Broken Token is not an exhibitor with us this year, and we forwarded the relevant information to our policy enforcement teams for next steps. The accuser detailed alleged allegations of her experiences as an employee under Spence at Broken Token in a post on Medium, that's a website, in which she said she was, quote, finally speaking up after over 10 years because her silence has allowed others to be hurt as well. She alleged, quote, 5 years of sexual, mental, and emotional abuse, unquote, as an employee at the company. Quote, Greg is a predator and a true narcissist. He thrives off of control and mental games. Now, that's very hard for me to say and for me to hear. I know him, not well, only through business. During the time of Stronghold, he had approached me many times to try to get licenses. We never did do that for no reason other than it didn't make business sense to do so. Broken Token is obviously the largest of the bigger like premier insert makers. So we didn't do the business only because it didn't make business sense at the time. He did release a statement, and his statement at first was odd and unapologetic. Later on, he comes out with a much more apologetic statement. He is stepping down as CEO. He apologizes for doing these things, even though they were consensual. In the end, the thing I'm trying to say out of this is that, this is at least the third high-profile one of these incidents in our industry. And it won't be the last. I guarantee it won't be the last. This is because, sadly, this is human nature. Sadly, this happens. And it's not specific to this industry. I mean, there's two things that have to be stated. Very sad, very bad, horrible behavior. It's got to end. Sadly, we're going to hear more. And at the same time, this happens, sadly, in every industry. We just are reporting the news of this industry. This happens, sadly, in so many places, in businesses and things like that.
Yeah, but the whole story is terrible, and I don't even want to follow up on this because it's just bad, bad, bad. And what we also said in a previous episodes, the industry is growing. We will have more and more people joining the hobby, and we will unfortunately in the future report more of these stories and even worse stories because yeah, we are growing. That means that the number of bad apples is statistically growing, and this is terrible. The news here that after the whole reveal, the broken token fired. There is a half of the stuff that was fired. Like I really
Yeah,
don't understand. It's like so confusing for me. Like this is all mess and all terrible. And Slavic Ignacy don't even want to start.
yeah, that was extremely bad news.
Commenting.
Right? If you think about that for just a moment, extremely
People
bad
get
news.
fired because of the owner was doing bad stuff. Like this, like I don't know even where to start.
Well, reduced the statement by Mr. Spence was that due to these events, and of course that means all of the events, this coming out and everybody doing business with them with Broken Token, he's going to have so much less income, and they're reducing their staff from 23 to 10. So because of his very poor behavior, they had to lay off 60% of the people. I mean, think about that. So they 60%, 13 people lose their jobs. Terrible. I mean, it's just another reason why people need to just wake up and do the right thing and not act like assholes. Oh, I think I just got bleeped there. It's just terrible. So sorry to the person who this happened to. I hope with these things coming out that changes can be made and that people will end up feeling empowered to come out if they need to.
Because it's like this. I mean, I don't want even to stop, but it's so stupid. They mentioned here Yellow. They mentioned here Arcan Wonders. They mentioned here other companies.
Mm-hmm.
They were not, stopping the cooperation with the company and wanting to fire these people. They wanted just the predator to go out of the equation. So if there is immediate information that from the broken token, Greg is no longer working, he is leaving the company, then those people will save the jobs, right? Because the people who stopped the working with the broken token, it was not because of the broken token, it was precisely because of the one person, correct?
Yep.
And then they will be not losing the job. But as I said,
it's
me
hard.
and my pessimism, I don't want even to start.
Right. Moving on. Atomic Mass Games puts Star Wars Armada on autopilot. So Atomic Mass Games, as people might recall, is the new Asmodee studio that took on many of the miniatures games. Basically, they've become
all
the
of
miniatures.
Them, yes. They took everything. Yep.
All of the miniatures games out of Fantasy Flight became part of Atomic Mass Games. It was an interesting development. We weren't even sure why it was done that way, but that was the result when we announced this about, 6 to 12 months ago. And it says no new products are in development for Star Wars Armada, and they will reprint existing Armada products. Atomic Mass Games announced that it is not currently developing any new products for the Star Wars Armada miniatures line. Atomic Mass Games took the reins of developing the Star Wars Armada from Fantasy Flight Games near the end of 2020. Yep, my timeline was right. The AMG branding for former Fantasy Flight miniatures products is set to begin in 2022. So they still say Fantasy Flight on them, but they're going to be changing over, according to the transition timeline laid out in an ICV2 interview by AMG's head of studio, Simone Elliott. Now, brand new Star Wars Armada products seem to be off the table for the foreseeable future. However, Star Wars Armada line will continue without a new product pipeline. AMG has stated that they will continue to support the Star Wars Armada game line with reprints of existing products and with organized play initiatives. So it's interesting. I mean, maybe we don't know the reason behind this. If they're going to continue to reprint and continue to support it with organized play, which is an expensive proposition, why no new products? Could that mean that the license from Disney has been taken back for anything new? That would be the only thing that comes to my mind.
From the gamer perspective, as I spend a lot of time with the gamers on social media and at conventions, clearly we also X-Wing being played over and over again, and there was this new edition of X-Wing released last year. So this game had the legs, and we saw not many people playing Star Wars Armada. And so it is either business decision to not develop new things, to not playtest new things, to not add new content, or as you just say, the contract is just going to be finished and they just are going this very, very slow end of the line. One thing that is bothering me, we had today 3 news and all of them were terrible. Do we have any positive news today?
No, no more.
Mr. Ted Lasso, please give us some good news.
No, the next one's pretty bad news as well. I mean, not bad,
What the hell?
not horrible bad, but it's Plaid Hat Games.
Board Games Insider ruining your day today.
I'm sorry, everybody, but we don't write we hope we don't write the news, right? We want to just give you
write a couple of positive ones.
Oh my, it's funny. I mean, it literally is like bad news, bad news, bad news. But this one is Plaid Hat Games is not going to any of the 2021 conventions. They have canceled all of their conventions for 2021. And I'm specifically mentioning this one because it was reported, but let me explain it. Plaid Hat Games will not be exhibiting at Gen Con or Origins Game Fair due to escalating COVID cases, the company announced on its website. Quote, despite the safety measures put in place by these conventions, our staff agreed that we'd feel more comfortable sitting this year out, the company wrote. Although a number of Gen Con's usual exhibitors announced back in May they would not participate, this is the first public reaction by a publisher to the recent Delta variant surge. Both Gen Con and Origins are planning to require that attendees wear masks. Gen Con had originally planned to only require unvaccinated attendees to wear masks, but recently reversed course and is requiring all attendees to wear masks. Gen Con is also considering a vaccination requirement to attend, but said that it is, quote, waiting for clearance from the legal and safety partners as well as local health officials. Obviously, they're not doing that. This was reported on August 27th, which was about 2 weeks ago. So that is not happening. Anyway, that's I completely understand it. That's just a company being very cautious and wanting to ensure that people are safe, because obviously if you're working for a company there, you're probably under a higher level of risk than an attendee who's going to walk through with a mask on and look at some things, and then they're going to walk out and they're going to do some stuff outside and things like that. So kind of a shame that that's happening, but understandable.
Let me just explain on the level my company is going to SN. But we have so much debate how to prepare. Mm-hmm. We made our crew smaller than in the previous years, so only the people that are really, really necessary at the booth. So our team will be smaller. Of course, everyone vaccinated, everyone prepared, and we are rebuilding the whole booth. So our booth will be looking completely different in the previous years to make it more anti-COVID friendly, like to make more spaces, etc. So some of the companies say too much risk, too much work, we can wait. And other companies who struggle, have so much more work and so much more hard decisions to make how to prepare in the best safe way. So I respect Plaid Hat Games making a maybe right decision, and I respect everyone else who is going there, knowing how much effort it takes to do it right.
Yep. Absolutely. So continuing on with the bad news. Now we've talked about IDW Games many times, and every time we talk about IDW Games, it's that they're losing money, and they're losing millions of dollars, because the publishing arm of IDW, which does lots of IP-based games, the publishing arm is owned by a much larger publicly traded company called IDW Media Holdings, which is traded on the American Stock Exchange. You can buy stock in it. I'm not recommending it. I'm not your financial advisor. But now IDW Games is finally closing. So Ignacy, this is the last time you every time I bring it up, you're like, why are we talking about this company? They keep losing money.
Should we have a special bumper to say goodbye to IDW Games? This is the last time, the last dance.
This is the last one. So, essentially, it was a very small part of the media company, but they obviously have not made money, and they can't figure out how to make money. And even using all of these big IPs, it's not been working out for them. They did have, a pretty big hit with Machi Koro, a non-IP game. They did say in the final announcement that they will release as their final titles things that they had announced and confirmed, a Ghostbusters game and a Batman game, but then that's going to be it. They're committed to doing those, and then we will not hear from them any longer. So goodbye to IDW games.
Yes, and because Steven is older than me, but now I will play like the responsible one. We were making fun here because it was very ongoing story for many episodes and it became viral. Of course, we are not making fun of the company going out of the business. Of course, just to make everyone understand who don't know the long history in this podcast. Like we are making fun of the viral thing around this news that was happening for like 2 or 3 years. On a serious note, obviously, this is like not the good news and nothing to make fun of.
No, of course not. So here is interesting. Maybe it's good news. Toys R Us stores are going to be housed within Macy's department stores going forward. So Macy's is, I believe, still the largest department store in the United States, certainly one of the oldest ones. And they have announced that they are collaborating with the Toys R Us brand owner to bring the online Toys R Us store on, within their website, as well as to establish Toys R Us stores within a store at the 400 Macy's stores that there are mostly, I guess, in the United States, maybe also in Canada. I don't know. And that's going to roll out in 2022. The Toys R Us in Macy's stores will feature dedicated sections by age, interest, and category with interactive experiences and activation centers. The online Toys R Us is featured on the Macy's homepage and is integrated with the Macy's site. We found a substantial selection of key Asmodee evergreens, including Catan, Ticket to Ride, Pandemic, and Carcassonne. The site offered Gloomhaven, but no Wingspan. While Dungeon Mayhem was offered, there were no Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering products, also from Wizards of the Coast. So I think this is kind of interesting and good news because we always have talked about, again, that Toys R Us was an iconic store name for forever in the United States. And the fact that they are now going to survive again with an even bigger iconic name, that of Macy's, is kind of a cool thing. So a store within a store, Ignacy, that's an interesting way of doing things.
I have only the one stupid comment, so I don't know if you should go for it or just no comment.
Go for it.
But my comment is, we talked about the Toys R Us going out of the business, and now 2 years later, we are still discussing this company. So that makes me think that we may discuss IDW games in the future.
Maybe they'll come back as well. I don't know. I don't think so. I see the synergy here that a Macy's is trying to create, right? I just see that, they've got this iconic department store and they're now taking an iconic toy name and embedding it with themselves. So who normally would go to Macy's to buy games and toys? I mean, I don't think many people would. You'd go, if you're in the store and your kids are there, you get them something, maybe. But I don't think it's a destination to go for something like that. But now they're looking like they're going to make it so that, oh, okay, well, I'm going there shopping for this, that, and the other thing. But now, I need to get games and toys for my kids or family. Maybe it's a good place to do that as well. So I like this. I like this idea that they're doing it. And how about this? Is Magic the Gathering going to be on soccer shirts? Wizards of the Coast is sponsoring an English soccer team. Ignacy, this is like amazing for you, huh?
This is so confusing in news. Like, I don't understand it on so many levels that to unpack it, we need like a special episode. But yeah, the news says that the Wizards of the Coast will be on the jerseys of the soccer club in England. And this is like not Premier League club, not the second league club. This is like a fourth division. Like, this is with the whole respect to the city and the whole respect to the fans in this club. Nobody heard about this club.
Nobody's ever heard of these guys. Well, I guess it's pretty expensive for, and pretty obscure to start putting your logos on the jerseys of any team.
But then read this news. It is said it is on the training jerseys. So this is not a match their jerseys. This is the training jerseys.
Really?
So yeah, read it. Like, it is so fun and confusing.
Oh my goodness. So the name of the club, so Wizards of the Coast announced that it will sponsor the Leyton Orient FC Football Club and EFL League Two soccer team for the 2021-22 season. Magic the Gathering is now in the world of professional soccer, or football, as you call it. Wizards of the Coast has partnered up with Leyton Orient FC, an East London soccer team in the 4th division of the EFL. The Leyton Orient are the second oldest soccer club to play in London and started playing football in the London League in 1896. Tottenham Hotspur striker Harry Kane, one of the captains of the English national team, was a former loanee to this team. I don't even know what those things mean. Loans, this, that, the other thing. You know, that's not how it works in the U.S. with baseball and football and hockey. I think it's cool, though. I mean, and I'm not a fan, obviously, of soccer, football, but to me, kind of getting our geeky name out there to a place like this, to in a thing like this, I don't know, man. I think it's cool.
I love it as a geek and as a football fan. But on a business level, what Wizards of the Coast get from having their logo on the training shirts of like a 4th division club? Where is the marketing? Where is the business model? Like, what's going on? I don't get it. But of course, I love it.
Yes, indeed, indeed. All right, that's it for the news. We're going to do a very short strategy and tactics this week because we're going long here.
Because we have only 2 minutes to the match to start. So yes, it's a very quick question.
He's a very bad man. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's go to Ronaldo. Very important.
Let's go to strategy and tactics. All right, Ignacy, the bad man, is making me read one question only. Oliver Kine, who's Oliver Kine on Board Game Geek, he says, "Thank you so much for everything you're doing, Ignacy and Steven." Thank you, Oliver. One question I have is, where do you get your industry news from? See, it's a news question, right? So it's really in line with what we're doing here today. In particular, business updates and industry statistics. I assume you're signed up for various publishers' news releases, but what other sources of information do you use and are generally available to the public? Well, yeah, Oliver, it's pretty easy. I mean, we talk about where we're getting them most of the time. It's ICV2, which is an industry watchdog in all of gaming and comics and all of geekdom, basically. Board Game Geek covers lots of news. So I get it from there. Ignacy, you've got some really great sources that you always tap. So why don't you talk about the ones you always
We are using Dice Tower News as well. We are using a Facebook game industry group that is only for the professionals that post Facebook group. And I also am quite active on LinkedIn. It is a social media platform. And I have a lot of networking, obviously, as a professional. So I see what my industry friends are discussing about what's happening at their companies, and some of the news I bring from this source. So a little bit of networking, a little bit of having the air in the right place, and then ICW2 and Dice Tower News and BGG are the main 3 websites.
Agreed. Oh, that did you mention tabletopgaming.uk? That one's a good one, right?
Yes, yep, absolutely, yep.
That's also a really, really good one. I think that's the name. So let's get directly over to our play testing segment. So we're talking a lot about conventions lately, and I'm going to so many of them, and other game and geeky gatherings. So if you normally do go to game cons or other geek gatherings, when will you begin to do so again? So this question is about your comfort level and when you want to get back into the game, so to speak. So no political statements here. This is not about politics or anything like that. So just be specific. This is only about your comfort level to go to larger gatherings. Obviously, I have a comfort level now, being vaccinated, not having any existing conditions. So I have a good comfort level. What's yours? Let's respect each other's comfort levels in general. So just tell us what you think. Ignacy, your comfort level right now, you normally would go to a lot of them. What's the first one you're going to? I guess it's Essen for you.
If not my profession, I would probably not go to Essen yet. I'm still hesitant. We also had here in Poland last week a huge convention that was the first big board game convention. I'm waiting for the numbers to announce. So I will probably report the next week with the final numbers, but based on the photos, there was a ton of people. So everybody was missing convention. For me personally, I still don't find fun to be with a face mask, to interact with people, talking through the face mask, and I'm not feeling comfortable being without the mask in a big crowds. So for me, I'm hoping that I will go to BGCon. I hope that I will be there safe and smiled. But basically, I'm still hesitant. But Ignacy is not a brave person. You have to remember, I'm afraid of flying. I'm afraid of cats. I'm afraid of everything, and I'm afraid, obviously, of big crowds these days.
All right. All right. Well, again, we want to ask you the same question. If you normally do go to game cons or other geeky gatherings, larger gatherings, and maybe it's concerts. You go to concerts a lot. When will you begin to do so again? Remember, this is about comfort level. Please, let's keep it at that and respect each other's comfort level as we answer this question in our guild on Board Game Geek. Ignacy right now is creating a thread so that you can answer that question to us. Please go to our guild on Board Game Geek and find our playtesting thread for this question. Post your answer. In the meantime, let's go to the final scoring. Thank you so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts. To ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment, you must post them in the correct thread in our guild on Board Game Geek. To answer our question to you from the playtesting segment that we just asked, also go to our guild on Board Game Geek and look for the thread with this episode's question. Board Games Insider has a Facebook page, so please like us on Facebook. Also on Facebook, like Ignacy's page and Steven's page, /Portal Publishing and /Podfather Gaming. Our websites, portalgamesus.com and podfathergaming.com. Go there, sign up for the newsletters, and get up to the minute information on what's happening at Portal Games and with the Podfather. On social media, you can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven. On Twitter, it's at portalgamesus and at Podfather Gaming. Same on Instagram. And on YouTube, the channel names are Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather of Gaming. We hope to see you at an upcoming convention soon. Steven will be at Gen Con next week, so hopefully you're hearing this just as you're driving over or right before you go into the convention. You can hear this. And see Ignacy at Essen, and I'll see everybody a few more times this year at various things. We'll talk more about that. In the meantime, Board Games Insider was professionally edited by Matthew Jude from This Game is Broken podcast. If you'd like him to edit your podcast, please contact him on Twitter or email at thisgameisbrokenpodcast@gmail.com. Also, that great voice you hear doing our intro, outro, and in-between segments is that of Ray Greenlee, and he can be contacted to do voiceover work for you. Find him at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Anything, any last words? Any news, Ignacy, you want to bring up?
Please go to gamefound.com and find 11. This game is on crowdfunding right now. It's a business simulation. You're running sports club, and sports are amazing. And that's why we need to finish these episodes and wish you the best, because the match is starting right now.
Oh, he's such a mean guy. All right, everybody. Have a great time. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.